sometimes in order to find the support that we need in order to thrive through this ever challenging world. One example is the amazing fish in the sea. The Chovat HaLevavot mentions about how amazing this miracle is, how fish get their food. And I love how this book uses these practical examples so that we can better apply it to everyday life. You know, in science class, there's this concept known as a symbiotic relationship where two species will help each other maintain each other in an environment for each other's well-being. So what does this mean? You can either have a predatory relationship where you have a big fish that's going to eat a smaller fish, or like we said in the last class, a bird that'll prey on a smaller fish. Or you can have symbiotic. Symbiotic is an example of the moray eel and the cleaner shrimp. The cleaner shrimp will literally live on this eel, eating and removing its dead skin, parasites, and will even go within the eel's mouth to clean it. And this provides food to this shrimp. So when you think about it, you're thinking, wow, why doesn't the eel just eat this shrimp? But really, this shrimp is helping it with its well-being, and they're living symbiotically. They're feeding off each other and helping each other. A little bit like a husband and wife should be doing, right? I mean, in a sense, we should be always giving, and doing and helping for the other person. Not the topic for today's class, but the other example would be the clownfish and the sea anemone. The sea anemone is a poisonous sea creature which swarms around the ocean bed, and this clownfish is immune to the poison that this sea anemone releases. Funny enough, the clownfish, being that it's immune, could actually live around it, and also does the same thing, cleans it up, protects this animal, cleans this animal while the sea anemone is protecting it. So rather than this clownfish getting eaten by predators, no one's approaching because it's surrounded by the sea anemone that is acting as protection. I have my son, together our project was we put together a fish tank, and we bought these fish that literally their job is not to just act as a fish, but they also give something in return to us. They clean the tank. Without it, I've seen people that have had fish tanks that have gone completely dark and, very nasty. There's not a very clean environment, but you have these fish in your tank, and then all of a sudden, they clean up all the rocks, they eat all the garbage that's produced, and all the remains that are done from the other fish. So it's pretty interesting how you can have this environment that is again cleansing itself to avoid infection, avoid areas of disease. And so when you go back to the sea anemone, the only fish that it allows to actually go to its teeth, to clean its mouth, to act essentially as its dentist, is this clownfish. It's unbelievable. And so we have to remember, and we have to remind ourselves that sometimes, even if these relationships, even if in our life we are going through different circumstances and situations where the other person that is with us, or the situation that is supposed to be symbiotic, is not, Hashem still designs the world to operate efficiently, effectively, and safely. Let's have another example of how this symbiotic relationship does not occur. And when you look, if you take a big fish that just was caught from the ocean, and you slice it open, you'll see some of the fish that was inside that was eaten is pointing in the opposite direction that you would imagine. Usually you would think that the tail would be first, followed closer to the mouth by the head, as if the fish had eaten and attacked that fish. Funny enough, you see, oftentimes that the tail is first. Sorry, the head is first, and then the tail is last. What does that mean? That means that the smaller fish literally swam into the larger fish's mouth. This is how Hashem operates. Hashem will sometimes give you and drop and put food on the table will give you situations and will put you through situations where you have no idea how this happened and why. And when you pay attention to it, you'll see that this is Hashem feeding you. This is Hashem giving you, putting that head into your body, giving you that feeding you directly. And don't forget that. Pay attention to that. All of this science that happens is what enhances our bitachon. Ask yourself, your success is a result of which chain of events that happen in nature, all controlled by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Have yourself a wonderful day.